Today's program is Clara Luper's special thank you because we are entering the Thanksgiving season. And if you have listened to the Clara Luper radio show since last Thanksgiving, I want you to know that today I want to say thank you to you and wish each one of you a very happy Thanksgiving. The people in California are still talking about the loss of their great educator, Anthony Winfield Akers. He was a retired San Jose school administrator and a local church leader. He had a heart attack. With the burial of Mr. Akers, it took a bit of Oklahoma with him. He was born in Oklahoma. He was raised in Oklahoma. He was educated at Langston University and was a proud graduate and was able to return home each year for homecoming. Mr. Akers, president of the Shawnee Classroom Teachers Association, a member of the Shawnee Human Relations Council. Mr. Anthony Winfield Akers, who moved to California in 1967 and became deeply involved in activities in that city. He will always be remembered as an educator's educator, as an educator's friend, as a friend of the people. He was a devout member of the Baptist community, active as a Sunday school teacher and a deacon at the Antioch Baptist Church. People still talked about the dignity of his funeral, the large number of people that gathered to say goodbye to an educator. Many of you in Oklahoma City will remember Anthony through his lovely sisters, Lucille Williams and Ruth McLean, his brother Clarence, all of Oklahoma City. Yes, we thank God that Anthony Winfield Akers lived. This is time to say thanks, and let's all say thanks to Enterprise Square Place, where you can save money, gasoline, and time. Oh, what a deal. You will be glad you did when you go to 4901 North Martin Luther King Avenue. It's first class, and you are safe at last at Enterprise Square Place, where you can pay your utility bills, where you can take advantage of a bona fide United States Post Office. You can buy your stamps, mail your packages, yes, and you can even rent a mailbox. Now, while you are there, be sure and go to Sherry's Cleaners, located at 4905 North Martin Luther King Avenue. This is the cleaners where you can put your clothes in the morning and pick them up in the evening. This is Sherry's Cleaners number 1. Now, Sherry's Cleaners number 2 is located at Langston, Oklahoma. Those of you at Langston University, all you will have to do is just walk right down to the big city of Langston and put your clothes in Sherry's Cleaners. Sherry's is a professional cleaner, owned and operated by Mr. Carlos Williams, a professional operator. Remember now, that's Sherry's Cleaners in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now, one thing about Sherry's Cleaners stand behind their work. And that's why they are so professional, because they guarantee their work. Well, there will be some happy people in Oklahoma City on Sunday, November the 29th. These are a group of people of 4 years ago that founded the Northeast Baptist Church. They will be dedicating a new church building, and I do hope that those of you out in Radio Land will be a part of this ceremony. They will be dedicating a new church building. Now, the church was founded some 4 years ago, and since then they started worshiping at a hotel. They had planned to build their church at 23rd and Coltrane, but they changed their minds. Our circumstances made it impossible for them to build there, and they went to 3815 North Bartell Road in Forest Park, and they have built a brand new church. This church will be dedicated on Sunday, November the 29th. There will be a motorcade which will start at 9 a.m. at the old site, 23rd and Coltrane. There the motorcade will move slowly but surely to their permanent home, 3815 North Bartier Road. Now, you are invited to be a part of this motorcade. Sunday school will start at 9:30 a.m. Mr. William Green is the superintendent. At 11 a.m., there will be a historical making moment. The father of Reverend Arthur E. Williams, the pastor, whose name is Reverend James Williams, who's a pastor of the Dale Chapel Baptist Church in Tyler, Texas, will deliver the message. Now, certainly it must be a very happy father to have the opportunity after 4 years to come to Oklahoma City and preach at his son's church that his son pastors, a Northeast Baptist Church, at 11 a.m. Now, those of you that want to hear a great sermon, I would certainly invite you to go to the Northeast Baptist Church at 11 a.m. on November the 29th. Now, that's not tomorrow. And remember, it's not tomorrow, it's the next Sunday. At 3 p.m., the members of the church, under the leadership of Reverend Arthur E. Williams, will dedicate their church. The dedicatory message will be delivered by Dr. W.K. Jackson, the pastor of the St. James Baptist Church here in Oklahoma City. Now, all of the friends of Northeast have been invited to this service. That's at 3 p.m. And those of you that are going, I want to urge you to go early, because even though they have plenty of room, they won't have enough room for all of the people that will be there at 3 p.m. So you be sure and be there. How do you go about dedicating a church? Well, what you do, you kick it off with a motorcade. You have a sermon by the father of the minister, Reverend James Williams of the Dale Chapel Baptist Church in Tyler, Texas. And then you start the whole week, known as a dedicatory week. At 7 p.m. on Monday, Reverend Eric Mays of the Unity Baptist Church here in Oklahoma City will deliver the message. Now, that's at 7 o'clock. On Tuesday, December the 1st, Reverend Bruner of the Canon Baptist Church will be the speaker. On Wednesday, on the 2nd, Reverend DeWitt Rowland, the pastor of the St. Luke's Baptist Church in Spencer, Oklahoma, will be the guest speaker. On Thursday, Reverend W.B. Parker of the St. James Baptist Church in Spencer, Oklahoma, will be the speaker. On December the 4th, Reverend John Mashak, the pastor of Tabernacle Baptist Church, will speak at that time. As we look at this new church, we also look at the people that have made it possible. We look at the chairman of the deacon board, Deacon William Potts, the chairman of the trustee board, Mr. Thomas Morris, and we know that Odette Scobie is the general chairperson of the dedicatory services, and Mrs. Juanita Perry is handling the publicity. Now, don't you forget, that's Sunday, November the 29th, when the Northeast Baptist Church will be dedicated. And speaking of dedication, many of you are dedicated to NACP, and we have just received word from the National Office of the NACP that the date of the National Convention has been changed to July the 10th. Now, those of you that are making reservations in Washington, D.C., be sure and notice the change of date. The NACP has been working extremely hard since the 7th and 8th National Convention in New York City, and they are creating a conference for state youth branches. Now, for 1988, they have set a goal to increase the youth memberships, and this is very important. Those of you out in Radio Land, we have told you about the AXO program, and certainly we want you to be a part of the AXO program. So if you are between the 9th and the 12th grades and you're good in art, sculpture, physics, science, math, music, singing, creative writing, or what have you, please contact us. That's 424-3949. As we think about Oklahoma City, let's take a look at Terrace Gardens. Terrace Gardens Nursing and Convalescence Center, located at 1921 Northeast 21st Street. The telephone number is 424-1449. What does Terrace Gardens Nursing Home and Convalescent Center provide? It provides a full-time administrative staff available 24 hours a day with an RN 5 days a week and an LPN coverage on all 3 shifts. They have a house physicians, and that's more than one, which is located within 1 block from the nursing home. They provide daily input in addition to weekly visits around the clock, and this is a special call service. Terrace Gardens Dietary Department is supervised by a certified member of the Dietary Managers Association. It concentrates on maintaining diets that have been subscribed by the doctors, and they specialize in items for all residents. The Activity and Social Service Department offers many different and varied and interesting projects on a daily basis, in addition to specially monthly functions, and these functions are geared to the needs of the residents. Many volunteers and church groups assist this department in providing well-rounded activity programs. A group of people that's really proud of their work is the housekeeping staff. The staff is proud of the spacious rooms and the sanitary halls and restrooms. The central dining room is clearly directly after every meal cleaned and re-cleaned. The lounging area is clean with color TV with cable and stereo for all to enjoy. All resident rooms are decorated with special surrounding large picture windows with personal items, making it a home-like atmosphere. You have whirlpools, physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and a range of motion exercise programs. It is a 105-bed intermediate care facility, and once again it's located at 1921 Northeast 21st Street. Listen at the staff. Dr. Charles Atkins, staff physician. Dr. Wallace McLeod, staff physician. Betty L. Halinga, administrator. Patricia Hoban, office manager. Kim Patton, director of nursing. Margaret Jones, dietary supervisor. Betty Gilmore, housekeeping supervisor. Dwight McCullough, maintenance. Gloria Melton, activities director. Tamara Peltzer, social services. The Clara Luper radio show certainly continues to ask questions, and we are proud of the fact that Betty Mason is one of the finalists, and probably the board will vote on her next Tuesday in Gary, Indiana. Now, I hate to see Dr. Betty Mason, leave Oklahoma City at this time, because many of you remember that Dr. Mason and I were on different sides of the fence during the school reorganization plan. Now, Dr. Mason spoke for neighborhood schools, which were segregated schools, and I spoke for integrated schools. We differed vehemently. I couldn't understand why Dr. Mason would come out in 1985 or 86 or 87 for a segregated school system. The thing that I hate more than anything else is the fact that the superintendent of schools, along with the Board of Education that initiated this program, it started it and left. And now to hear that Dr. Betty Mason is leaving without seeing the results of her plan, I feel like crying, and maybe I should cry because maybe Dr. Mason saw something in neighborhood schools that I did not see. And I want everybody to know that I'm still against neighborhood schools, because I think it puts our children, whether they are black or white, in a fishbowl being educated in the 20th century. If you want to see a beautiful flower garden of God's great creations, I want you to walk into an integrated school room, see them in all colors, see them in all sizes, see them coming from different backgrounds. Now that to me is more important than anything else. The arguments that Dr. Mason and others put up were the fact that you don't have to sit by a white person to learn. Well, certainly, I would agree with them that you don't have to do it. But to travel, and last week this time I was in West Palm Beach, Florida. When you go on an airplane, they do not have any certain areas for you to sit. You sit by white, black, you sit by foreigners and non-foreigners, and if you aren't used to sitting and working with people, you are in a difficult position. Not only that, you miss the beauty of what America is all about. The beauty of America does not lie in some segregated school system, but it lies in the diversity of her people. We learn from each other. I know in my history class, which is composed of all races, creeds, and colors, we are talking about steps that led to the Civil War. And I told my students that I stand here as a descendant of the slaves, and I'm not ashamed of it, because I would much rather be a descendant of those men and women that cried out for freedom than some people that took away freedom. And I told them how smart my ancestors were. I told my students that they would throw away some hog heads and would tell my people to go throw these hog heads away. And my people went down and made some hog head cheese. Then I described to them a new dish. I told them how the field slaves were able to take the scraps and eat meat. But since I'm as black as a blackberry, I told them about the real field slaves. You see, the field slaves were field slaves even if they were in the house, although they were called house slaves. And I told them how the field slaves were given the hog intestines or guts. And those field slaves looked at that and they saw in that something that would be delicious. So they took those guts down to the creek and they washed off the things that were inside the guts. And then they washed the guts and washed them, and then they went and boiled them, and they came out as chitterlings. I told my kids I don't know what they are going to have for Thanksgiving, but for Thanksgiving in the tradition of my forefathers, we're going to have chitterlings. Now, I was silly enough to go to New York City and go down in Harlem, and I wanted some chitlins in New York City. Went down there, sat down, the Greeks owned the restaurant, and they brought me the menu, and a plate of chitterlings cost $19.95. And that's one time I lost my chitterling appetite. Clara Luper reporting, KBYE Radio in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. When we think of Oklahoma City, we think about churches in Oklahoma City because churches have certainly been the background of this city. It was some years ago that Reverend J.W. Dungy, along with 17 other baptized believers in that great religion known as Christianity, organized what was to be known as a Tabernacle Baptist Church. That was before Oklahoma became a state. Tabernacle Baptist Church was organized in 1896, and Oklahoma became a state in 1907. There were 17 chartered members, and these chartered members today would certainly be proud when they find out exactly what's going on at Tabernacle Baptist Church. This is a church that has experienced tremendous religious, spiritual, and physical growth. And when we think of Tabernacle Baptist Church, we think of Dr. E.W. Perry and his son, Dr. E. Jennings Perry. The Perrys, E.W. and E.J., led that church for almost 70 years. As a result of their able leadership, the reputation of Tabernacle Baptist Church is well known. And wherever you travel throughout this world, and especially if you're from Oklahoma City and you are a Baptist, people expect you to be a member of the Tabernacle Baptist Church. Now, I have found in traveling that somebody walk up to me and say, "Are you from Tabernacle Baptist Church?" I say, "Yes, I'm from Tabernacle Baptist Church, and I am from Tabernacle Baptist Church because Tabernacle Baptist Church is located in Oklahoma City." Now, if they want to go down the details, I say, "But I'm not a member per se of Tabernacle Baptist Church, but certainly I respect the church and its membership." Well, sometimes it's time to come home to Tabernacle, home to a church that started out, as I told you, with 17, and who today has over 1,000 members. Now let's see about Tabernacle today. How many of you would like to know about Tabernacle Baptist Church today? Well, stay tuned to the Clara Luper radio show, and I'm going to let a member tell you about Tabernacle Baptist Church today and what they are doing. In the meantime, it's soul food time. And you can eat chitlins, and I have to give it to Rosie's Restaurant. Rosie has some better chitlins than they have in Harlem, and they don't cost $19.95. In fact, you can get all the chitlins down to Rosie's Restaurant that you can eat for less than $5. Now, Rose's Restaurant is located at 217 Northwest 23rd Street. You can go down this evening and get your chitlins. And with your chitlins, you can really enjoy the Oklahoma-Nebraska Civil War. That's a war between Oklahoma and Nebraska. Go to Rose's Restaurant, but tomorrow Rose's Restaurant is putting on a special. After church, you may save money and you may please your appetite by going to Rose's Restaurant, 217 Northwest 23rd Street here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And when you go, be sure and tell her that you heard it on the Clara Luper radio show. As you pause to celebrate Thanksgiving, today we have Thanksgiving greetings to you from the following. From the Roth Funeral Home, located at 1801 Robert H. Roth Avenue. From the Temple Funeral Home, located at 2801 North Kelly. From Stale's Restaurant, 1100 Northeast 23rd Street. From McKay Davis Funeral Home, 1616 Northeast 36th Street. From Gates Barber Shop, located at 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue. From Soloway Auto Supplies, 1811 Northeast 23rd Street. From Todd's Auto and Body Shop, located at 1319 Northeast 23rd Street. From Lewis's Tax Service and Bookkeeper, where they do computerized bookkeeping, located at 2424 North Jordan Street. From your optometrist, Dr. A.L. Dow, located at 934 Northeast 8th Street. From the Economy Bingo House, which is being completely remodeled, and only to see is to believe at 3613 North Everett Street. From all of them to all of you, may we say, have a very successful Thanksgiving. And now Shelley is all excited because it's Thanksgiving time and it's time to go to Burger Brothers.
The specials of the day are pork roast, 79 cents a pound, Wilson chitterlings, $6.99 for a 10-pound bucket, family pack fryers, 39 cents a pound, and pork sausage, 69 cents a pound.
Oh, where is that now?
Burger Brothers at 412 South Harvey.
Now, Burger Brothers at 412 South Harvey would like to send out Thanksgiving greetings to you. Thanksgiving will not to be completed without your turkeys, your hams, and what have you, and you can get those along with specials where?
At Burger Brothers, 412 South Harvey.
And from Burger Brothers, from the staff and owners of Burger Brothers, we say to each one of you, have a great
Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Shelley. And Shelley, I know that you have something very important to say to the people.
Yes, I would like to thank everyone who sent their cards, prayers, thoughts, gifts, flowers, letters, visits, and calls when I was in the hospital this past week.
Okay, now what were you doing in the hospital, Shelley?
I had to have a skin graft on my foot.
Okay, what happened to your foot?
I burned it.
Okay, how did you burn it?
I spilled hot tea on it.
Oh, well, great. I know you also would like to take this time to thank the people at the Burn Center.
Yes, I would like to thank all the nurses and staff and everyone at the Burn Center for making my stay very pleasant, and also a special thank you to my nurse, Lois.
How about your doctor?
Oh, yes, Dr. Sawyer.
What lesson did you learn most about being in the Burn Center?
That you don't put hot tea in a glass pitcher.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you learn anything else about people? And
I feel fortunate of how lucky I am in my life.
And how about your doctor that has worked so hard? You had two doctors, though.
Two
Dr. Sam.
Sawyer and Dr. Trulls.
And would you like to say thanks to them?
Yes, thanks, Dr. Trulls.
And how about those fine teachers and students at Northeast High School that kept your lesson and sent you lessons, and those students that came out and helped you?
Thanks to the students at Northeast High School and the teachers for sending the assignments.
Okay, well, thank you, Shelley. The Clara Luper Radio Show, KBYE Radio in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. There was some time ago, as we look at the pages of history, when there were no blacks in leadership position in our city. I remember the marches downtown to the police station. I remember the marches to the city manager's office where we were asking for blacks to hold important positions. And I remember the collection plates, the money that was given by men and women that would never have the opportunity to walk into these doors. Men and women like Mr. and Mrs. D.J. Diggs that never had the opportunity to go downtown and eat a decent meal. But they were able to give their money and their encouragement for people to march. We were happy. And in the midst of this happiness, we have a black city manager in Oklahoma City. I called the black city manager and asked his secretary, and they have an aristocratic way of doing it. It's difficult to get through to the city manager. They want to know everything about your credentials and what have you. Now, as a citizen of this city, and as a person that has worked hard to make it possible to have a black city manager, I thought the black city manager would return some black people's calls. So therefore, if I called, and I left my number and asked this city manager to call me. The secretary wanted to know, what do you want to talk about to him? Well, I didn't like the tone of her voice, nor did I give her that information. Because if we have a city manager who is a recipient of the tears and the blood and the sweat of those that have suffered and died for a cause, I think the city manager should become involved some way with the black community. It was a time in the history of our city that young people could pass by and they would say, this is where my doctors live, this is where. But we have completely isolated ourselves from the community. Now, you can run, but you can't hide. It's no way in the world that I can believe that a city manager in this town, whether he's black, white, or polka dot, should dodge the responsibility of talking to his constituents. Now, I do not, and I shall not tell his secretary everything that I want to talk about. I really won't. What I want from the city manager is not too much, but I would like to see a city manager that identifies himself with the total community. And I don't care how many $1,000 you make. If you are black, and you can get off of that little badge, city manager, and walk through the streets, and you will suffer the same humiliation and feeling as others. Now, maybe no one has told our city manager that. I'm extremely interested in the people that were cut off the payroll in Oklahoma City. There are some people that speculate that the city manager has been able to get a raise on the backs of many blacks that have been cut off at City Hall. I want to ask him myself. And I know if one person in this town should be a life member of the NAACP, it should be the city manager. And those of you that's going to go back and tell the city manager what I say, be sure and quote me directly. Tell the city manager that he's in this town now, and he's living on the northwest side of town because there were people that walked in the cold, in the snow, to make it possible. Remind the city manager as he goes out to dinner to take part in the business of this city that once upon a time, black people, whether you were a black city manager, black doctor, you couldn't go. And because of those two facts, the city manager owes something to black people. So I'm going to call him again Monday. I'm going to call and say, I want to talk to the city manager. Now, one of the tragedies that we are running into here in Oklahoma City, whether we are talking about Midwest City and Tinkerfield, the blacks that get in position and all at once forget they are black. The blacks that are in positions are no better than the blacks who aren't. Now, all you can do, Mr. Black City Manager, Mr. Black Supervisor, you can just wear one pair of pants at a time. But if you pull off those pants, you'll find you as black as anybody else. And I know the white people love me in Oklahoma City. Now, I know that. I know the white people will do anything for me in Oklahoma City. And I know the black people will do the same. Now, I don't know about the city manager because I know I have never seen him over here to anything since he's been the city manager, unless he was speaking. But everybody goes where they can speak. Why is it that once our people move up, they have to be the speakers and they have to be the big ones before they can associate with blacks? But until you do to the least of us, you have not done anything. Clara Luper reporting on this Thanksgiving, and sure, I thank God that we have a black city manager and black supervisors, but a black segregationist, a black one is no better than a white one. Clara Luper reporting. Alicia, I understand you're going to be a part of that big Christmas pageant at Fifth Street Baptist Church on December the 20th at 6 o'clock. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would you just give the audience, I understand the name of it is Good News, the Savior's Born. I understand that you are playing a traveler that's on your way to Bethlehem. What are you going to say when you get to Bethlehem?
I'm going to say, oh, you see Bethlehem.
Is that all? Oh, you city of Bethlehem? Bethlehem?
Oh, Bethlehem, Bethlehem. Oh, ye city of Bethlehem. Bethlehem, Bethlehem. This house where David.
Thank you so very kindly. We'll be back with you as we look at Christmas 1987. I have with me today a very lovely young lady that I've known through the years who happens to be a member of the Tabernacle Baptist Church. I want her to tell you exactly who she is and what position she holds at Tabernacle.
Thank you, Mrs. Luper. We're just thankful to God today for this day and for the opportunity to come on your radio show and be with you and to announce the 91st homecoming of Tabernacle Baptist Church.
All right, now you've got to tell my public who you are.
My name is Carolyn Payton.
And you are actually a member of the Tabernacle Baptist Church.
Yes, I am.
Okay, Carolyn. And this is what birthday?
The 91st homecoming celebration of Tabernacle Baptist Church.
Well, you're just about 9 years from 100.
That's right. We're marching into our centennial.
Oh, I should say.
right.
Now, what is your theme on your 91st year?
How can we forget? How can we forget 91 years ago that 17 dedicated people, black people, decided to start a church? Where did they get the means to do this? But on faith, they stepped out, and as a result of it, we have a beautiful edifice today, and we are so proud of the contribution that Tabernacle has made to our community.
All right, you are saying that 91 years ago your church started. Do you have any members in your church today who were there 91 years ago?
We do not have any members in our church that were there 91 years ago at this time, but at this celebration, we are recognizing those members who have been there, or we're calling them the golden members. They have been members for 50 years, and they will be recognized on Sunday morning at our worship service.
How many members do you have at Tabernacle Baptist Church that been in Tabernacle for 50 years?
We have
2? Do you have 2?
We have 8.
You have 8 members that's been in Tabernacle for 50 years. I sure would like to know who those 8 members are that have stayed there for 50 years.
Let me call their names for you. Lula Mae Battle, Jack Gillard, Helen Lee, Evelyn Stevens Mays, Harmon Martin, Arthur Richardson, Roberta Stewart, and Rosie Carr Williams.
You took me a little fast. Now, I want to, anytime you talk about anybody that's been in a church for 50 years, I just think you should say it again.
Lula Mae Battle, Jack Gillard, Helen Lee, Evelyn Stevens Mays, Harmon Martin, Arthur Richardson, Roberta Stewart, and Rosie Carr Williams.
All right, now they have been there 50 years. How are you going to honor them?
They will be presented with a golden medallion tomorrow by the pastor.
Oh, by the pastor. Who is the pastor?
John Lewis Mashak. Reverend John Lewis Mashak is our pastor.
And he's going to present those members.
Right.
What now?
A golden medallion around their neck, and they will be given a framed certificate. for their services, and special recognition and special place at the dinner table tomorrow.
Oh, you're having dinner.
Oh,
yes,
yes, you are
okay,
invited.
tell me about the dinner you're having tomorrow.
We're having dinner. It will be Thanksgiving dinner, a turkey dressing and all the trimmings. We're having Prospect Baptist Church that will be guests tomorrow afternoon at the 3 o'clock program, and the E.J. Perry Ensemble will also be special guests tomorrow at the afternoon program. On special recognitions, too, we will be recognizing the members of our bus ministry.
A bus ministry. Now, okay, when you say a bus ministry, remember I'm from Hoffman, Oklahoma, and we don't understand the fancy words that you in Oklahoma City always use. Because when I think of a bus ministry, I think of people that stand out and wait on a bus.
No, these are the people that go out on Sunday morning with our bus and pick up those people who have no other transportation to get to church. These are the dedicated people that do the background work, and we want to recognize these people tomorrow. We have 6 bus drivers.
Well, okay, how much do you have to pay to ride the bus to get to Tabernacle?
You don't pay to ride the bus.
You don't pay to ride the bus.
to
Well,
ride the bus.
how can you ride the bus without getting a token or something?
No, these bus drivers that we recognize tomorrow will come by and pick you up at your front door and bring you to church.
Just a minute now. Are you telling me that if I want to go to church, and some of my people out there fool me, they tell me, oh yes, Mrs. Luper, I'm going to church. And sure enough, they went to church, but it was church's chicken. They didn't go near church. Now, you're saying that if I wanted to go to Tabernacle tomorrow, all I would have to do was be to call the church, and somebody would come to my house and pick me up without
right.
charging me a penny.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
And those bus drivers, I'm sure they are on good salaries. Are they on union wages?
No, these bus drivers are doing this out of dedicated service of their own. They
Now
are
those
paid.
bus drivers,
They are blessed by Jesus.
Let me ask you.
Jesus is
Sure, they're
blessing
blessed. A
them.
lot of people are blessed with chauffeur's license, but I don't know. Bus drivers driving the bus free out of dedication?
They are driving the bus free of money.
Free
They are
of
driving
money.
the bus with God's blessings.
Oh, with
because
God's
God has
blessings.
truly blessed these men.
Okay,
and we
God
are
has
so
blessed the
thankful for them.
men, and the men are driving the bus free. I want to know the names of those men that are driving the buses free. I want to know their names. I want to meet them, and I want my audience all over this state to know it. This is a Clara Luper radio show, KBYE Radio in Oklahoma City. We remember Burger Brothers, Rainbow Bread, Enterprise Square Place, Sherry's Restaurant, and certainly my holiday specials are making this program possible. And if you really want to see what's going on, if you want to see, go to Dr. A.L. Dial, our optometrist, 934 Northeast 8th Street, 235-0536. Before I find the names of this big bus company, I want Shelley, and when I say a bus company, it must be a company. I don't know what Reverend Meshack has up there that can make bus drivers go out and drive buses free. Oh, Shelley, tell me about Merlin Hildred and insurance.
Merlin Hildred sells home insurance, life insurance, and car insurance. You can contact Merlin by calling 848-7470 at the office or 427-8399 at home.
Thank you, Shelley. Now for the big news. The big bus drivers at the Tabernacle Baptist Church that will be honored tomorrow. Who are the bus drivers?
Brother Chester Ward, Ralph Thomas, Brother Ulysses Clay, Reverend John Berry, Brother Timothy Fugit, and Brother Charles Moore.
We better call those names again. Now, I want you to take your time because I want the whole world to know about these dedicated bus drivers. Okay.
Brothers Timothy Fugit, Brother Charles Moore, Brother Ulysses Clay, Brother Chester Ward, Brother Ralph Thomas, and Reverend John Berry.
Now, tomorrow, if somebody wanted to come to Tabernacle to help celebrate that 91st birthday, then if they didn't have any transportation, no gas, no money, you're saying that they could call Tabernacle tomorrow and get a free ride?
Yes, they can call Tabernacle Baptist Church, the office phone number, 424-7767, this evening or early in the morning, and the bus will pick you up at your door and deliver you home after the day's activities.
I never shall forget. Some of my best friends are at Tabernacle Baptist Church. I have some good friends at Tabernacle. And one time I went up there, and after hearing the minister preach, I said, "Oh, my church doesn't have a pastor, and I would like to. Maybe we should get Reverend Meshach." And I'm telling you, those people like to run me out of that church. You mean to tell me that? I said, "You mean to tell me you wouldn't like to share your pastor with us?" And you know what those people told me? Emphatically, no.
I can imagine.
Okay, now let's talk about Reverend Meshach. Is that true that he is the minister up there?
Yes, he is.
And he came to you from where?
From Waco, Texas.
From Waco, Texas, he came here. And what kind of programs do you all have at Tabernacle on your 91st year?
Are you referring to the program for tomorrow?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the general program because some people might not be able to make it there tomorrow.
We have morning worship service every Sunday morning at 10:45. We have Sunday
At
school.
10:45, what time do you get out? About 2:30?
Oh, no, we get out like about 12:30 on
Okay.
Sunday morning.
You mean to tell me Reverend Meshach preaches and get through by that time?
Yes.
Okay. Well, see, I'm asking you this because down in Hoffman, we used to have church 2 Sundays a month, and sometime Reverend Massey wouldn't finish preaching until about 3 o'clock.
Well, we don't stay that long, but we get the message, and we are a spirit-filled church, believing in God the Father, and we're so happy with Pastor Meshach. He has truly been a blessing to us.
Well, I'm really happy, and certainly I really enjoyed you being with me today, and I would like to just go back over what you're doing tomorrow. It is a fact that tomorrow Tabernacle Baptist Church is celebrating its 91st homecoming activities. The theme is, how can we forget?
That's right.
How can we forget where we have come from? That's really a beautiful theme. How can we forget where we have come from? And tomorrow you are honoring members that have been members of that church for 50 years. And you're calling them what kind of members?
The golden members.
The golden members will be honored. All right. Now that's tomorrow. Once again, at what time?
Beginning at 9:30 tomorrow morning, Sunday school services. Our morning worship service will begin at 10:45 a.m. Immediately after morning worship service, we will have dinner in Fellowship Hall. And after dinner, we will go back into the sanctuary for a program that will feature the Reverend Lee Cooper from Prospect Baptist Church, his choir, and the E.J. Perry Ensemble. A beautiful program planned for the entire day.
Thank you so very kindly, and a special congratulations to all of you that have been together as a family for 91 years. May the next 100 years be filled with happiness, brotherhood, and love. Those of you that have enjoyed our program today, we would like to tell you that this program is being made possible because you are buying copies of Behold the Walls. Behold the Walls, a 346-page story of the civil rights movement, written by Clara Luper and written especially for you. That's Behold the Walls. Now, I don't want anyone in Oklahoma City not to know the name of my book. Now, I was in West Palm Beach, Florida last week attending Miss Black America, and to my surprise, one lady walked in from some little town in Florida and said, "Look, I knew you would be here and I wanted you to autograph my book. I bought this book and I just want you to autograph it." Let's go back to West Palm Beach, Florida. West Palm Beach, Florida last week, some 36 young ladies from all over the United States competed for the title of Miss Black America. The winner was a beautiful young lady who came from Denver, Colorado. Oklahoma was represented by Sharon Evans, a student at Langston University and who reigned as Miss Black, Oklahoma. In the finals, Oklahoma came up in the top 10 of the projection part of the pageant. But we went down to defeat in dignity. We did our best, but we were beaten by other young ladies that did just a little more. We are now making preparation for the 1988 Miss Black Oklahoma that will be held on June 18th at the Great Hall Merritt Convention Center. If you will be 18 in 88, we would like for you to sign up for Miss Black, Oklahoma. The prizes next year are unbelievable. And if those of you out in Radio Land would like to give a scholarship to deserving, hard-working, talented young lady, why don't you do it through the Miss Black, Oklahoma pageant? We would like to let you know that when you see Miss Black America on television, you will see a young lady who reigned as Miss Black, Oklahoma, the lovely, talented Miss Lisa Swain, who will be announcing the winners with her favorite Andy, who might be called Jesse Jackson or some other names in the script. But you will recognize her with all of her beauty, with all of her dignity, and with all of her talent. And we are very happy that Mrs. Alice Swain, who will be working with the Sigma Gamma Rho and Miss Black America, was also able to attend the pageant. And we would like to thank the Urban League, the NACP, and all of those people in West Palm Beach, Florida, that helped to entertain Miss Black America. And a special hello was sent by Mr. Lee, the executive director of the Urban League, to the Urban League people, the Urban League Guild, and others in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. One thing that I like about traveling, you learn so much. I learned so much in West Palm Beach, Florida. And when I came back to Oklahoma City, it was really interesting, and I was able to learn just a little more. But that's what life is all about. Sometimes we think we know something, and to our big surprise, we don't know anything. So if you ask me, what do I really know, I would like to say, I don't know what I don't know. But I do know what I know. And I know that I'm very grateful on this Thanksgiving. And for the last 5 minutes of my show, I want you to call me, 478-2103. And before you leave, I want to ask all of you that are here in the studio with me, what are you grateful for this Thanksgiving? I get so tired of people telling me I have nothing to be thankful for. I'm just down. What are you thankful for most on this Thanksgiving day? What are you thanking God for?
Miss Luper, I can never begin to tell you all the things that I am thankful for this Thanksgiving, but mainly I am thankful for Christ, my Savior. And I think that sums it up, because without Him, I would have nothing or be nothing. And I am so thankful that God chose to give His Son Jesus that I might have everlasting life, and I am so happy.
Okay, Shelley, it's your time. What are you thankful for on this Thanksgiving?
I'm thankful for friends and a family who loves me and is very supportive of me and provides me of the things of what I need. Also, speaking of family, my church family, and also thankful for Christ.
All right, thank you. And what are you thankful for, Alicia?
I'm thankful for the food that my parents have put on the table, and my friend and my grandmother for feeding me, and my aunt for being nice and kind, and I could just name everybody.
Now, for one of the most promising young people that I know, I would like for my friend, our supporter, and our protectionist here to tell me what you're thankful for.
Well, Clara, I guess most of all, I'm thankful for the family's time that we can have to spend together. That I could spend with my family this Thanksgiving. There was a time as a police officer for 6 years, I'd spent every Christmas and every Thanksgiving in a patrol car, and I didn't get to spend it with my family. But this year, being in Christian broadcasting, I do get to spend it with my family, and that's one thing I look forward to. And that, and the freedom of religion, freedom of speech here in the United States that we do have, that we can go to church on a Sunday morning, and that we are allowed to go where we want, when we want, and we can worship God in the way that we feel best. And that's what I'm thankful for.
It seems to me that that's a drastic change to go from a police officer to a person that's concerned with Christian broadcasting. Why did you change?
Well, for a long time as a patrolman, I spent at colleges, was where I was a police officer at. But just spiritual conviction. I was more involved in the church, and I wanted to get into, I felt God's calling into the ministry. So I went into youth ministries and then into single ministries. And for that, and I do Christian broadcasting. I went right into working at another station here in Oklahoma City.